and I'm so excited. I was already feeling the excitement from the group. I am as excited as Dr. Toyin is, and as every other person here is, to share the possibilities, the amazing opportunities that comes with having learning experience design skills, because everybody learns. Everybody, no matter the level, no matter the field, everybody learns. So because of that, the opportunities and the possibilities are limitless. So um I believe we've already done this. We've shared our names, role, and location, but I think we can still type in the chat if you are just joining and you didn't get to, unmute and talk about your location and your role especially, because I look forward to people leaving this webinar and connecting and collaborating. Oh, you're into this. Let's work together. Let's do this learning project together. But if you say it, somebody might not be listening at that time. But if you put it in the chat, someone can still read through the chat. So if you're looking forward to that kind of collaboration at the end of the webinar, please share your role in the chat and plan to connect with someone. I mean, that's how I met Doctor. Yeah, in fact, that's the background of how I met Doctor. Sharing what I do, sharing my passion. So, all right, welcome, 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 and we're going straight to it. Um, Today's webinar, we are focusing on this. Why learning experience design is a must-have skill for you. The objective is to bring exposure. The objective is to ensure that you are aware, to awaken your curiosity about the innate learning experience design skills and abilities that you already have inside you, but has not been fanned to flame. Probably because you have not been in that space where you can use it, or where you get to realize that you have it in you. So if you joined maybe through any other means and you're not on the WhatsApp group, it's very important that you join the WhatsApp group. Those that joined from the WhatsApp group, they can tell you what they enjoyed today, right, Doctor? They have been enjoying since the beginning of today, and the excitement started from I think this afternoon or so. So if you have not joined the WhatsApp group, or you know any other person that registered with you but the person is not on the WhatsApp group, please encourage them to join the WhatsApp group. All right, so this is our focus. Before we go ahead, you might be wondering, who is this Bisayo Adewole that is working with Doctor? So I'm going to introduce myself, and then Doctor will talk about herself too. So I started in the classroom. I have 5 years experience in multi-award-winning classroom teaching, teacher education. Then and now I moved to the corporate sector as an instructional designer, and now I am a learning and development specialist. While I was in the classroom, I got my master's degree in educational administration and planning. I have Microsoft certifications for training, and as an educator, I've worked with over 9 organizations to design transformative learning experiences for different levels of learners. I also create learning and development content on Instagram and LinkedIn. So if you are looking for somebody to follow to just keep you up to date with learning and development, you can follow me. I'll share my my links later after I must have delivered the value I prepared for today. All right, that's all from my end. Doctor, over to you.
Bisayo, your screen is not actually moving. I don't know if you are aware of that. Your screen is not moving, so we just have the LXD and future of work welcome.
Wow,
so I was thinking that we were supposed to have. Yes.
Yeah, I've been moving. I've moved 3
Okay, so you may want
now.
to stop. You may want to stop sharing and share again. Yes.
Oh, okay. Let me do that.
All right, so while she's doing that, I know a couple of us here know me and have met me prior to now. Okay, so I know that most of us on the call. So if you have had contact with me prior to now, let me just see a show of hand. Let me just see a show of hands somewhere. Okay, thank you, Tola. Thank you, Tomisi. My people, I can see plenty of my people here. So your screen is not coming on. No. We can only see your beautiful face. You are presenting your face.
Wow, I'm surprised because I can see everything. Does this apply to everyone? Everyone on this call?
Or is it only me? Can we all see our screen?
No, we can actually see your screen. I can see her screen.
I can see meet the team.
I can see her screen. Yes, meet the team.
Wow.
So it's from doctor's end.
It's no longer there. It's something else now.
Yeah, because I'm changing it just to
confirm. So we're good now.
We are good now. Lord of God. I'm only seeing her beautiful face. Abidjan is Ivory Coast internet is showing me shaky. Okay, thank God. Let me just speak. Let me just speak in the spirit. At least, thank God, I have a copy of the slide. Just believe, just assume that I'm saying everything that is happening, okay? So yes, thank you so much for those that have said that they have known me, met me one way or the other. But for those that are just meeting me for the first time, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for being your host for tonight's session. I do not take it for granted. I reached out. Quite a number of us did not know me. You did not know Saya, but she decided to just give us that try. Yeah, I know quite a number of. Yes, now I can see your screen. Why are you now making me to feel like oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Jesus. God no go shame us. All right. So my name is Dr. Toyin Sam Emehelu, and as you can see on the screen, I'm a competent, seasoned consultant, certified leadership coach and mentor, and a business leader. I have over 27 years of teaching experience, 12 years of consulting experience, 7 years of mentorship and coaching experience. And in the past 1 year, I've been Bisayo student, learning about learning design experience. And I just saw a lot of opportunities, right? And since she's an expert, they reach out to her to say, can we just partner? Can you actually let's help together to work to reach a lot of people, to see how they can leverage and maximize what this is all about. I'm sure quite a number of us saw her video where she was explaining how massive the market is, all right? So it's not a coincidence that every one of us are on this call, because we all are looking forward to engage and also get on with this. So aside from that, I am a certified business consultant from the School of Consulting in United Kingdom. I have my doctorate in educational planning and management from Prowess University. I have my certificate in public leadership and policy from the School of Politics, Policy and Governance. And then, of course, I'm the training and development lead at Equip Nigeria. Equip Nigeria is John C. Maxwell non-for-profit organization. And then, of course, aside from that, aside from all of this, all right, I am also a recipient of several awards. Individuals, and I worked with over 100 companies around transformational projects centered around education, leadership, mentoring, and business sectors. And I'm currently the founder of and executive consultant at Upskill Transformational Academy. I'm a recipient of several awards, and I always like to say this: I'm a wife and a mother of a teenager and a preteen. So that's me in a nutshell. And I want to say thank you so much once again, everyone, for coming in and joining in. So please,
All right.
you can then to you. All right, take it away.
Okay, thank you. Let's appreciate Doctor. Let's appreciate the host. If you enjoyed that introduction, please use a reaction, anything at all. You can also put something in the comment. Say, I'm happy to be here. Let's light up this space. I'm happy to be here. All right, thank you. So I need to stop sharing my screen and then share just one tab because I don't want the other tab.
While you're doing that, Surajuddin raised up his hand. I don't know. Is it that you have a question, Surajuddin? Was it a mistake? Kindly engage in the chat, please, so that we can read your message, and then you may want to lower your hand. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Now it's time for me to put on my camera. I can't continue without showing my face. I need you to see how passionate I look when I'm talking about learning experience design. All right. So let's get to it. The first thing that we want to look at is the categories that you might fit into. I'm really excited about the diversity of roles that we have here. It's interesting to see that we have not just educators, we have people from different sectors. From the farm, I saw that some people from insurance, some people from agriculture, we even have business owners. Wow, it's amazing that we have all of these people interested in learning experience design. So I created this framework, and it has a very easy mnemonic to help you remember. If you don't remember anything from this webinar, please remember LD cards, just like you have ID cards. I came up with it to help you see that there are different categories of learning for learning experience design. There are different role categories, because when most people hear learning experience design, the first thing that comes to their mind is, oh, this is the person creating courses. There's so much more beyond creating courses. In fact, I can confidently say, from what I have done so far in the field, course creation is like an entry level role. To just create courses, just create a course, is still a basic level. There's so much that goes on behind the scene before we now get to the level of creating the course. And I've helped you arrange it into LD cards. Now we start with L. These are the leaders in the learning space. They are the leaders. So I want, is there any leader that is here now, that is on the call? Is there anybody that is a leader in their space? Are you managing a team? Are you the owner of your own business? Are you the head of your, are you a CEO? If you belong to any of that, please put it in the chat. I'm doing this so that all the people that would most likely fall into this category can connect. And I'm not seeing the charts now. So I'll need a doctor, please help me to check people that are putting it because I'm on the slide. So I'm not looking at the chart. So if you are a leader, it doesn't matter the level of leadership. As long as you are leading a group of people, I want you to put it on the chart that yes, I lead this. I lead this project. I lead this team in my organization, in my something like that. So please put it on the chat and try to connect with other people that are also posting that they are leaders. Now, who are the leaders in the learning space? These are people that we call head of learning and development managers. These are people that we call um, head of curriculum. These are people that we call chief learning strategies. These are people that we call learning and development managers. What do? They are the ones that set the direction. So before a course creator, before somebody creates a course, there is somebody that has established the direction of learning, the direction that learning should go, the strategy, the learning strategy that is tied to the business goal. That if there will be any learning product or service, we're going to look at different types of learning product and services too. That if there's any learning product or service that will be created, it must be in line with this direction that these leaders have set. The leaders do not necessarily have to be the ones, getting their hands dirty in, creating the course, using all the tools, right? Because the moment you hear learning experience design, everybody is just eager to go and start learning how to use one tool or the other. There are so many tools, you can get overwhelmed, and that might not even be where you fit into the most. You might be better as a leader. You can look at people's performance and say, you know what, this is the direction that learning should focus on. If anybody is going to be creating any course or any learning product or service, it should be in this area. Let me give you an example. When I was working in an organization that was producing mobile learning, we were producing mobile learning products for public school teachers. The leaders there, the learning and development leaders in that space, we called them head of learning and head of content. Now, these people are the ones that they have the direct contact with the stakeholders, and that's the government. They are the ones that understand the goal of the government. So in your case now, it might be business goal, it might be the company's goal. And based on their understanding of that goal, they gave us the direction that any curriculum, any research, anything we are doing, any data we're analyzing, it is in this direction because there is an outcome, there is an expectation tied to that direction. So these are the things that leaders do. They don't even need to use the tool. Yeah, it will be really nice if they know how to use the tool, because sometimes leaders, especially those who are servant leaders, sometimes to really lead people, you need to lead by example. And to lead by example, you need to be able to show your followers, you need to be able to show your team members that you can help them when they are struggling with a particular tool. So you are not completely in the dark. But that will not be your main goal. Your main goal is to set the direction so that at the end of the day, we are not just creating learning products here and there, and you cannot really say that this is the return on investment. So I believe you can see how powerful the leader's role is in learning experience design. So if you belong to that category, if what you are currently doing now, you have been setting business direction, you have been setting the direction of your team's activities, you have been developing strategies, you have been helping your clients develop strategies for where they should focus on, long term, mid term, and short term. You already have an idea of how to set learning strategies too. based on the needs, based on the performance expectations that you want to see in people, these people that you are creating the learning products for. Now, the next letter there is D, designers. Now, these are the people that you will find them, you will find instructional designers here. You will find curriculum designers here. They would have received that strategy, they will have received that direction, they will have received the business focus from the leaders. And then they now, this is the hub where the main work is carried out. They now start designing. They design based on some of the things that they have received from researchers and analysts. We'll get to them. Okay. They design based on some of the data, the insights, the resources that they have received from researchers and analysts. They are the ones that will mostly use the LMS. They are the ones that will be using course authoring tools. They are the ones that need to know how to organize bulky content. Maybe there's this big manual or there's this 200 slides deck from a client, and the client does not want to be sending these slides to people again. He wants to convert it into a course that can scale. Is the designers that will do the work. That's where they fall into. Now we move to creators. These people they are like the media arm of LXD. That's where you will find the video producers and editors. That's where you will also find the influencers. We have influencers here too. There are some people, that's all they do. They are excellent at selling learning products. They are excellent at selling learning services. They know what to say to get people to be interested in learning using that tool. They are L&D marketers. Companies pay them, companies that have resources to sell, they pay them to help them sell. That's another area. They are the ones they are the graphic designers, they are the animators. One person might not have all of these skills. One person that is called a learning experience designer might not have all of these skills and be excellent in them 100%. That's why I created these categories. One person might know all of these might fit into all of these categories, maybe 20% here, 10%, 30%, while there's one that is majorly maybe 70%. So that's why as I'm talking about all these categories, please, if you find anyone that you think what you are currently doing now is close to it, type it in the chat. I think I fit into the designers. I think I might fit into the designers category. I think I might fit into the leaders category. I think I might fit into the creators category. I've already started. I'm already used to designing flyers on Canva. I hope people are putting something in the chat. Let me quickly check so I can read out somebody's. Okay, I can see that it's mostly leaders. Am I talking too fast? Is it difficult to catch up? Okay, it's mostly leaders here. Based on what I have said so far, that's leaders. I've talked about leaders, I've talked about designers. Okay, Oluwaseun says he creates and designs too. What do you create and design? What kind of creation do you do? What kind of design do you do? Is it graphics design? Is it animation? Another thing is these creators, they are also the voiceover artists. Do you know that we use voiceover artists in learning experience design? Those voices that you usually hear in courses, in your courses, those online courses, those voices you hear, there are people that is their focus. I recently got a LinkedIn message from one of them, pitching to me that just in case I need an original voice to create a course. That is somebody's niche. So if you have always been told, oh, you have a really nice voice, your colleagues tell you that whenever this person is presenting, the voice is commanding, the voice sounds like an instructor, things like that. You speak so well. That is another niche. You fall under the creators category, right? So I've seen only leaders and maybe one designer now. Any creator in the house, anybody that has been doing video editing, you never can tell. You're already setting up a team right now. Before the end of this webinar, I look forward to a team already being set up, a team that has all these people, a leader, a designer, a creator, and then we'll get to all of these other parts. So put it in the chat you if you fall under leaders, designers. For designers, you've created a course before. You've used a course authoring tool before. No matter how simple it is, if you've done any of that before, you can put it in the chat. And if you've never created a course before, but you have helped teach, you have helped train another employee or a group of employees, they were struggling with something, they were struggling with onboarding, or you've stepped up to teach them, you've helped them, you've broken down difficult concepts to teach them, and they told you, oh, this is really easy, thank you for helping me. You will most likely do well as a designer, because that's what most roles that fall under designers, that's what they do. I can hear that some people are trying to raise their hands. I can hear it. Doctor, are you here? Hello?
Hello, Bisayo.
Okay, let me. Yeah, I can see that some people were trying to raise their hand, something like that.
Sorry?
And then I said some people were trying to raise their hand, and I need to be able to read out some of the things in the chat so that I can focus on the slide, because I can't both at the same time.
Okay, so you need me to look at the chat for you. Okay, basically what they are just putting in the slides is just to talk about the fact that which category they fall into. Most people are saying they are leaders. Some said that they are they create Canva designs and Canva. Some are subject matter experts.
Oh, nice. Somebody has already gone. Yes, I did.
Yes, so that's basically what's in the chat for now. Yes.
All right. So if you'd also like to share by unmuting, you can raise your hand. I don't want to be the only one talking. I want to hear from you. So the next category are the people I call the analysts. Now, these ones are very good with data. Not everybody, for instance, instructional designers, not all of them will know how to do data analytics. So we have people in learning and development that are very good with data. They might not be the one to go and collect the data, but as long as the researchers have gone out there, they've gone to search, they've gone to find out the needs, they've shared surveys, and they've collected all of the data. Once they give it to these analysts, these people know how to provide or to help us see insights, to help us know if we are making sense, if the courses, or the learning products or services that we have created, if it is really making impact based on the data that has been collected from the researchers. Now, most of these people are called learning and analytics. That's what they call them. That's their specialty. Or sometimes they are just called data analysts, learning analysts. Sometimes they are also called measurement and evaluation experts. Now, the researchers, I've already said some things about them. They are the ones that know how to identify learning needs. And I'm not just talking about special needs now. I'm talking about identifying gaps, identifying skill gaps. They know what to do. They know the questions to ask. They know when and how to observe these learners. And learners in this case now does not necessarily have to be school learners. The learners that you have probably been involved with might be employees. They can even be customers. That's why in L&D we also have something called customer education. If you have been teaching your customers how to use your product, that's L&D. It's part of L&D. There are some people in L&D that is their niche. They have not done any other thing in L&D apart from customer education. I don't know if has anybody here noticed that there are some websites when you go to the website, it's not a school website. It's not a website for any form of educational content, but they have a learn page. Canva has a learn page. If you go to Canva's website, they have a learn page. You will see businesses, they now have a learn page. Why? Because when you educate your customers, you reduce the number of queries, the number of complaints, the number of questions they ask. Bank websites, they have learn page. They need learning and development experts to design that learn page for them. They will need a combination of, they will need somebody that has the combination of design, creator, analyst, and even research, while they provide the subject matter experts. That's people that are experts in, banking and finance. And then they provide you with the content, and then you do your magic as a learning and development expert. If you are following me, please put it in the chat that I'm following. Everywhere seems to be so quiet. Please put into the chat that I'm following. You can even unmute and just quickly say, I'm following you. If you understand what I've been saying so far, if you are getting more and more curious, please put it in the chat. Let me know that people are listening. Thank you. I had to leave to just check. Okay, I can see
I'm
it is
following
coming
you wholeheartedly.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. So I've talked about leaders, designers, creators, analysts, and researchers. Now let's go to the developers. From the name, you can tell already, these are the people that do the tech. So what does that tell you? It tells you that not everybody, or LXD is not a code, or it doesn't require coding skills. It's not everybody in LXD will need to be an expert in coding one way or the other. No, we have people that fit in the developers category. So if you are here, you already know how to develop your website, you know how to build a website, you know how to create applications, what else? You know how to code, you know how to write codes and things like that. This is the category you will most likely fit into, because when all these people, the leaders, the designers, creators, analysts, researchers, and all of that, when they do all of their magic, they need somewhere, they need a platform to host all these things. And they can't do it without the developers. This is where we have the e-learning developers. What do? They are the ones that build course websites. They are the ones behind Thinkific. They are the ones behind Coursera. All of those design that you see, the arrangement and all of that, they are the ones behind the scene, writing the codes. That is where you will find the what do we call them again? Apart from e-learning developers, that's where you will find the UI UX people and so many others like that. That's where you will find tech support. You are very good at writing um documentations that help learners, that help users of a particular application or website learn how to use different features on the website. You are good at that, you fall under this, right? Then we now have the subject matter experts. Everybody here, you are all subject matter experts by default. Everybody here. So I need you to see yourself beyond being subject matter expert, because that's the default role. We are all subject matter experts. So to raise the bar, you have to be something more than a subject matter expert. Are you, if you are in agriculture, you're a subject matter expert for agriculture. A company that is creating learning and development products or services for agriculture, we come to you to get content. The researchers will come to you to ask questions. They will come to you because you are the one in the field. You are the one, face to face with the realities of these challenges that they want to teach people to overcome. So they need you. So by default, everybody, we are all subject matter experts. You are in education, you're a subject matter expert. You are an English teacher, you're a subject matter expert. So what is more? What's more is for you to move beyond being a subject matter expert, so actually being able to translate what you know. How can you use what you know to lead learning in that field, to design learning in that field, to create learning content in that field, to analyze learning data in that field, right? You choose your niche based on what you are currently doing. This slide was designed to help you find out how what you are currently doing is closely related to the different LXD categories that we have, and it's called LD cards. If you remember, put LD cards in the chat. LD cards, LD cards, LD cards. Leaders, designers, creators, analysts, researchers, developers, subject matter experts. Remember, everybody is a subject matter expert. We are all subject matter. In fact, mothers are subject matter experts. If there is a company now that wants to create a mobile learning app for mothers, all mothers in a particular whatever niche they are trying, maybe it's work from home moms, they want to create learning content for them. All work from home moms are subject matter experts. So what makes you different? You need to move up the ladder based on what you are currently doing. If you are very good at research, you know how to ask the right questions. That means you will know how to ask the right questions to draw out performance gaps, to draw out skills gap. You don't need, it's not until when you have an education degree, to be able to ask the right questions, to find out what people don't know and why they don't know it. That's what research, learning and development researchers do. They want to know why. They want to know what can be done to help you know it and apply it. They want to see you on the job. They would observe people on the job and see the things they struggle with. Then they will now categorize which ones require training, which one requires maybe emotional support, which one requires the company to change some policies. That's what researchers do. And you are probably already doing something like that, even for your customers, especially those in consulting. So why not put all of that together and create a niche for yourself and say, you know what, this is where I'm focusing on for L&D. Now, there's a particular L&D role that cut across all of this. Can you guess what that role is? Have you ever heard of the role? Is there anybody that can guess? There's a role that you will find them doing almost everything here. They must at least, and that is why they are the most sought after. There is a role. Is anybody putting it in the chat? Let me just quickly leave and check. There's a role that in the learning and development space that they lead, they design, they create, they analyze, they research, they develop, and they are experts in their own field. Who can tell me? Okay, Vele said tech. Well, teachers, you are very, 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 very close. But the thing is, for teachers, what if the teacher is the teacher for a particular subject only? How would that, for instance, a CRS teacher, for instance, how will a CRS teacher design for maybe work from home moms or the customers of a corporate organization? So yeah, you are very, very close. Consultant, that's another name that they are called. So you are very close to consultant. You are very, very close. There's a particular name, there's a general name that you will find if you go to LinkedIn jobs. God bless you, Ebele. Ebele again. Give it up for Ebele, please. Let's clap for Ebele Ibekwe. Did I get it right? They are instructional designers. They are instructional designers. You will find instructional designers at the leadership level. You will find them at mid-level. You will find them creating. That's why if you just go online now and search for an instructional designer's job and look at the job description, right? Look at what they are expected to do in the company. You will see that most of these things I've explained, you will find it on the list. So instructional designers are always not sure what to call themselves. Okay, should I call myself a leader now? Should I? Because you end up doing everything when you get in. From experience, you will be employed as an instructional designer. You will get in there and you will find yourself doing certain learning direction. You will find yourself working with the head of learning to establish a learning strategy. You will find yourself talking to the stakeholders. The stakeholders, for instance, now are the people that will pay for the product you are creating, and the people that would come to you to ask you to create a product. So, for instance, let's put them like this. In a situation where the government comes to you to create a learning product or service for learners, who are the stakeholders here? The stakeholders here, they are the government officials. Whoever is in charge for that project is a stakeholder. And then the people you are creating the product for, that's the learners, they are all stakeholders, and you have to speak to them as an instructional designer. There are instructional designers that double as creators. They are the ones that we, like Doctor, even though she doesn't call herself instructional designer, she's the one that we shoot video for our courses. Don't you see her in our courses? She's the one that will shoot the video. She will work with the person editing to ensure that nothing is missing or broken or scattered. There are instructional designers that know how to develop learning websites, applications. There are instructional designers that can code. There are instructional designers that know how to analyze learning data based on maybe the result of a quiz or a course or feedback from a workshop. So instructional design is the rule that cut across. So a company that wants to save costs will most likely put out adverts for an instructional designer. Okay, Ebele, okay, no wonder you were able to guess right. You have seen a lot of instructional design job descriptions. So they will most likely put out a job vacancy for an instructional designer, because they know that when they employ an instructional designer, they are most likely going to get some a percentage of all of these categories that they need. It is very expensive to set up a learning team. Imagine employing, just because you want to create a learning product and service, you now have to employ all these categories of people in a team. The developers alone, what you will spend on developers alone. But imagine that you have maybe 2 or 3 instructional designers that can do all of this. because that is the way they are trained. Instructional design, that's the way they are trained. But I'm not saying this to now make you focus on only instructional design. No, 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 no. There are people that are still cashing out big in their own niche, but you need to be aware that this is the role that has all of these things. So let's move to the next. Sorry. Okay, now let's look at the product and the services. Remember, I said at the beginning that most people think that once you hear learning experience design, it's training, 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 training. No. Did anybody remember that I said that at the beginning? If you remember, just say yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I remember. I mentioned it earlier that learning experience design is not just about creating courses. I said that there are different things that happens before we even get to the course creation level. Did anybody remember that? Okay, while I'm waiting for somebody to remember. Thank you. Thank you. Maybe let me keep quiet. I don't want to spoil. Okay, thank you. So this is where I will now show you the different categories of learning and development product and services that are available or that can be created by you. In fact, after I'm done with these slides, you will realize that you have actually even created some of them before and you didn't even know. You probably did not package it well as a learning and development expert, but after today, you will be more conscious of it. Bukola, you're raising your hand. Do you have a question? All right, let's go on. Please, if you have a question, put it in the chat if you don't want to forget, or write it somewhere in your note. There's a time for question and answer very soon. Good. Eunice is already going. I like this set of learners. They are already reading the slides before I even start explaining. Excellent. All right. So let's start with the common one, which is e-learning and trainings. This is the one that everybody knows that learning and development experts do. They create courses, workshops, webinars like this one, learning event. Before we got to this level where we are actually carrying out this webinar, myself and Doctor, we have done the research, we set the strategy, we analyzed the data that we got from the forms you filled before we created this content you are seeing. We didn't create the content before sending out the form. We sent out the form based on the data we got from you because we want the learning to be meaningful and memorable. And that's why you can see that as I am asking questions, you can relate to what I am saying. Because we didn't just read about these things. If you go online now, you can read about these things I'm saying, but you will not be able to connect with it the way you are doing now, because it was tailored, specially designed based on what we got from what you shared, right? I hope you can see the way I'm referring to the roles now. Then we now got to before we now created this content. This particular slide you are seeing is a learning and development product. Is a product. So let's go on. Courses, workshops, webinars, learning events, LMS administration, authoring and publishing, learning community management. Some of you are already managing communities, and in that community you teach people. You don't know that you are already doing learning and development. There are companies looking for learning community managers. They need a learning and development expert that can manage a learning community, and you're already managing a community. Might not necessarily be a learning community, but you are managing a community. You are guiding what they are learning. You have a community of teachers. You have a community of customers. You are teaching them how to use a product. You are teaching them the do's and don'ts. You are teaching them how to enjoy a particular product. You are teaching them other benefits, maybe health benefits if you are into agriculture and all of that. You are teaching them all these things. That is L&D. Now, another level is performance support resources. Because training is not always the solution. Remember the example I gave earlier that when researchers are doing their jobs, when L&D researchers are doing their job, they ask certain questions to find out if training is the reason for this issue, for this performance problem, or other things. Sometimes it might be the system. It might be the system. It might be the policy. It might be behavioral. So why will you subject people to training when if a particular behavior, a particular approach, a particular process can just be changed or removed, the person's performance gets better? That is the work of a learning and development expert. The learning and development experts will not just come and say, okay, I've created 10 courses. These courses will fix this performance, this performance, this performance. After they take these courses, they'll be able to manage their time better. Who told you that? What if they can't manage their time because the tools they are given to use, the products or the services or the equipment they are using, they are not good. They are not good enough. Who told you that? It's because they don't know how to use it. That's why they are not saving time with those tools. That's the job of the L&D. Generally, the owner of the company will just think, they need training. They don't know how to do this. They don't know how to, but you as the learning and development expert, you're the one that will know that, you know what, these customers, the reason why they keep messing up my products is not because they don't know how to use it. They probably don't have this. They probably don't have that. They probably forget to do this. They forget, they don't remember the process of using my product. So what can I do? I can create a checklist. I can create a short animation video. I can create a playbook. I can create a manual. These are not trainings. These are not courses. They are performance support resources. I can create a quick reference guide. That's what is called a QRG. I can create a standard. I can't believe I've actually forgotten this SOP as I'm talking to you right now. I can't remember right now. So I can create a infographic.
Is this standard operating procedure?
Thank you.
Yes, standard
went off
operating
my
procedure.
head. Yeah, completely went off my head. So I can create cheat sheets. I can create one pagers that if I just paste it somewhere on the wall and people are seeing it regularly, it's enough. Do you know what is anybody in the health industry? Anybody in healthcare? Anybody? Okay, if there's nobody here, how do you think the nurses and the patients, how do you think they learn the color codes to call when there's an emergency? They have color codes. They have code blue, code red, code I think pink or something, depending on the kind of emergency. When they don't know how to use it, it's not telling them to go and take a course that will make them remember, because they can take the course at the end of they will remember during the course, and when the course is over, give them like maybe 1 week, they are done. But a simple job aid on the different strategic places in the company is enough to make them remember, using colors, using graphics, right? Playbooks too. I'm sure that there are CEOs here that have one way or the other created a playbook, because I mean, how do you work with your sales, and some other teams like that? These are all learning and development products that people will pay you to create for them. Then we go to the research, evaluation, and consulting. Needs assessment. I've once been booked to do just a needs assessment. That's all they needed me to do. For teachers, they needed me to look at the way these teachers teach, the way they interact with certain materials, and processes and all of that. And they needed me to share my insights on what do you think they need, and then to create a curriculum. So all I was going to do there was to do the research, identify needs, more like when a doctor um observes a patient, or is he triage now, and then presents a case that, you know what, I think this is what is wrong. I think we should start them on this drug or that drug and all of that. Something like that too. It also falls, this time around, we will call it a service. Curriculum design might not even end up being the one creating the content. Look at the education system, for instance. The people designing the curriculum are not the people delivering it. And curriculum design in itself is a service, is a learning and development service. Most consultants, this is where you will fall into, because you would know how to present learning gaps, performance issues, skill gaps, and then prefer or propose solutions, strategies that they can use, both training and non-training. And then we now go to learning multimedia, learning design, learning application. And that's where we have voiceovers, animations, images, videos, websites, prototypes, and the likes. Now, if you have created any of these before, one way or the other, please put it in the chat. I've done this before. I've created courses before. I'm currently managing a community, and they learn in that community. I've hosted and I've designed webinars, like I've planned webinars, several webinars to teach people before. I'm very good at creating a checklist, even if it's for yourself. Put it in the chat. Let me quickly check the chat. Somebody is saying my screen is no longer visible. Is that the same for everybody?
We can see it. Your screen is visible.
It's on now. It's on now. It's back.
Okay. Eunice said that she has planned several.
It has gone off again. Your screen has gone off again.
Is this the same for everybody?
I can see it actually. I can see it actually. So it must be network that has been, yeah.
Okay. So who else? Is there anybody here that you've been creating videos?
I can't see your screen.
I think it's your network, sir.
Okay, it's back now.
All right. So anybody here that you've designed tutorial videos, maybe for YouTube, even on social media. Do you know that Instagram, LinkedIn, what else is there? Facebook, TikTok, they can all be used as a learning platform. I mean, don't we all learn there every day? Consciously and unconsciously.
Yes, I do.
You see something there, you find yourself practicing it. But you have not thought about how you can use these platforms to, demonstrate your learning and development skills, right? All of these fall under different categories of learning and development products and services. Now, you must have heard me use LXD and learning and development interchangeably. Now, a wider, or let me use a broader term will be learning and development. Right? But learning experience design is specific. But if we are going to use a general term, I use learning and development. So that's why you hear me using both. For instance, I started as an instructional designer, a learning experience designer. But now I'm a learning and development specialist, because I am doing more than just I'm doing more than creating the product or service. I am involved in the conversations. I am involved in the decision making from the top now as a learning and development specialist. right? I have managed other instructional designers. So my role is not so specific anymore, but I am still an instructional designer because I mean, if you start as an instructional designer, you would be an instructional designer forever. You would always be in that space. You would find yourself easy. Instructional designers make the best leaders. They can step into anybody's shoes immediately, anybody's shoes in their team. They can step in immediately and help. Let me not start promoting instructional design. I'm here for all the roles. Okay, Oluwasheo, learning multimedia. Now, do you know that there are some resources that teachers buy or teachers download? Do you know that it also falls under the job of instructional designers or creators? They are all learning products. There are subject matter experts that want to teach, but they don't know how to put what they want to teach into a resource. They need you. They need you. They need to give you the content. You will then turn it into a resource, maybe an infographics or a cheat sheet or even slides like this or a course. They need you to put it into that so that they can now use it to teach. Just like how teachers go to buy instructional materials. While some teachers create their own instructional materials, some have to go and buy it. The people creating those instructional materials, they are all part of the learning and development ecosystem. All right, thank you so much for sharing. Somebody has even been involved in needs assessment for a teacher. If you have been involved in needs assessment for your customers, I don't want us to focus only on the education sector now. If you have been involved in needs assessment for your employees, as a supervisor, the HRO has asked you to let them know the needs, the training needs of your team members, or as you are working with your colleagues, you're able to discover that and this person, there's a gap where I'll be asked to fall under any of these sectors. And even if you don't fall under any of the sectors, you find a way to apply it to yourself and then answer the questions. For healthcare, think about it. What would happen if you developed a learning system that emphasized patient safety across all levels of staff? How could this reduce the risk of malpractice and save cost? So imagine that, remember that I didn't say a course. I said the learning system. The learning system can be a combination of different things from these categories, arranged in such a structured and beautiful way, right, that would reduce the risk of malpractice and save costs. A learning system can be a combination of maybe an onboarding course for new nurses, a combination of maybe job aids positioned in different sections of the ward or the hospital. It could even be on their CRM, such that whenever they log in, it pops up, reminding them of something that they must not do, or reminding them of something that they must always do. Everything like that makes up a learning system. So many other questions that I'm sure everybody can read my screen. I don't want to have to be reading out the slide. For agriculture, I saw that there's somebody here that is into the creation of something related to food. Is the person here now? Can't remember the name, but I saw it in the form. You said that you do is it spices now or something like that? I can't remember. Now, what if you come up with a series of checklists or a series of toolkits to show people, or even a cookbook, maybe in different series, to show people, your customers or your potential clients, that this is it to how do I put it now, to showcase the potential benefits or the powerful possibilities of what you are creating, and you make it available to them. When they buy any of your products, you send a checklist out. Or it could even be tutorial videos teaching them how to reduce food spoilage, or how to, handle your product safely. All of these will go a long way to increase your number of customers and reduce negative feedback. Same thing for the business owners here, the entrepreneurs here. You are managing your team, you are managing your customers. How can customer education communicate your value proposition to your clients? For example, you own a bakery. And then you realize that your cake is so sweet that your customers, even after writing, should not be consumed after. I mean, how do they usually put it now? That you should not let it stay beyond 4 days. But your customers will keep it for more than 4 days. Just because after 4 days, it still appears to be good. It still appears to not have spoiled. So they will keep it after 4 days. And then something somewhere, their tummy starts rumbling. And then, you know the way customers are now. They won't say that they are the ones that kept it after 4 days. They will say that, that is that cake that is turning my stomach or something like that. That alone is a problem that learning and development, customer education can solve. And you can solve it in a very fun and simple way that will go a long way to control how customers use your product. And it will also communicate your value. You know what? Yes, this is our recommended number of days, but just telling them alone will not do the work. What if you come up with different scenarios of what might happen when you keep certain products more beyond the days that they are supposed to keep it? What if you show them videos of what might happen? Or you show them videos of better ways of using it if they want it to last long? That's what most of these business owners are doing on Instagram, but it's not packaged as learning and development. They just take it as social media content. If a learning and development expert should focus on that, you see the difference. Let's move to another set. Let's see insurance, for instance, where customers need to understand certain policies. Personally, I find it difficult to remember and understand. When it comes to insurance and all of that, I just want to hear it in simple terms. I don't want too much grammar. And that's the reason why. Because there's this person, there's this insurance company that I was using with my previous employer. Just because the particular officer that was in charge of my account, just because he would take his time to come to my office to teach me whenever I have questions. If I am struggling with understanding, I was opportune to have him around, living in my area. So he would come to around where I work. So he will come to my office, he will stop by, and he will take his time to teach me. He will show me graphics, he will show me different things to teach me how it works, long-term, short-term impact and all of that. Just because he does that as often as he has the opportunity to. When I moved to another company, and I wanted to register, I wanted to continue with the insurance company, I called him and he told me he was no longer there. I told him that I want to continue with it. Wherever he is, that's the one I want to start using now. And I asked him, I said, is it possible for me to move? What are the implications and all? And he told me everything, and I was okay with it, and I moved. That is the power of customer education. The company didn't know that that's what he was doing, that he was educating his customers, and that's what was making him get a lot of clients from from him. That's why the company was getting clients from him. Now, I was not the only one that now started using the new company that he has moved to. My other colleagues that were there watching the way he was teaching, they also learned something that day, and they decided right there and there that it's the current insurance company. Now, this does not mean that if he moves to another one, I'll move with him. No, I'm not. But I'm just trying to explain that is the power of customer education. I don't want this webinar to just focus only on school or educational institution. L&D is everywhere, because everybody learns. The same thing with the legal sector. Those that I don't know if you have anybody in this field here now. These are really complex. They have really complex systems that is difficult. Sometimes just educating a client properly, creating a learning system for your set of clients is enough to save them from some unnecessary cases, from some unnecessary back and forth. Sometimes just putting processes that they should follow or things that they should avoid, common words that you should not say when you are being asked certain questions, things like that. Putting it together maybe in a cheat sheet or in series of videos is enough. There's somebody now that is using this on Instagram. That's what he does. He's using it on Instagram as a creator, and he's making money from it, a lot of engagement, because it's connecting to everybody, even those that are not so educated, to his level. They can understand because he's teaching it in a way that anybody watching can understand. That is learning and development. Then now let's now come to education, where we have all of these things. For the teachers here, how can you improve your lesson delivery beyond just creating lesson plans? How can that lesson plan be converted into something that will outlive that 80 minutes or 40 minutes in your class? What can you use? For instance, there was a time that I was teaching the, what's it called now? Different types of poetry. Yeah, I think so. And I'm teaching public school learners that they're not even concerned about poems. What's their business with poems? What they want to use it to do, they are learning it because they feel maybe there will be an exam and they have to pass. They don't see themselves using it or needing it when they get home or to survive in the hood. So what did I do? I had to help them create a mind map using something in their environment, one way or the other, to represent each type of poetry. That is learning experience design. So they would draw the icon, they would draw that element that they want to use to represent the type of poetry. They would draw it, right? And they would, when they see that image, it will remind them of the type of poem. That is an experience. That is beyond lesson planning. That is not something that you will see in the scheme of work. That long, big book that usually get from the government. You will not see it there. That is something, that is a perfect example of experience. Now, when they go back home, whenever they see those things, they will remember that it is connected to a type of poem. Sometimes it's just mnemonics. Mnemonics is enough, just like what I did now with LD cards, because I know that everybody knows ID cards. So if I remove the I and just replace it with L, if you leave this place now, if you don't remember anything, I am sure to a particular level that you remember LD cards. And then because you remember LD cards, you remember the roles. And because you remember the roles, you will be able to think about, you'll be able to remember some of the explanation at least, and think about how you fit into, any of these categories. At this point, I would need to hand over to Doctor, because it's not enough to, have the skills and be curious to acquire the skills and, to identify the transferable skills. You also need to know how to monetize it. You need to know the business aspect. And that is where, I would remove my hat for Doctor. Plus,
Awesome.
not
Yeah,
the business
yeah.
type, right? So,
Fantastic.
Doctor, thank you so much. Over to you.
All right, amazing. Okay, you may want to stop sharing. I believe everybody can hear me loud and clear. Please, if you can hear me loud and clear, let me know. Bisayo, I need the feedback.
Yes,
Can
I
you
can
hear
hear
me
you
loud
loud
and
and
clear?
clear.
Okay,
Yes, I can.
amazing. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. The reason is because I want to be able to have full autonomy about what we are going to discuss about. So the truth is, I love how, I don't know, I mean, Bisayo took a time to really break down stuff for every one of us to understand, and that is super amazing. Now, what we have done is we have designed resources. We have actually designed a handbook that in whatever space you are, in whatever skill you have, you can then have this handbook that will help you transition into learning experience design. Okay? And it is actually for you to skill up and to cash out. Right? So, this book is not just for, it's
Please, I
not an
can't hear
ebook
you
at all.
clearly.
It is a handbook that also contains other resources. Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Please let me know.
It's not audible enough.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, but can you hear me now? Better now. Let me know.
We can hear you, but it's breaking from time to time.
Yeah.
Oh no! Wow. Please, I need other feedback. I want to be sure.
Yes, it's the same thing for me. Yeah,
Same here.
from time
The
to
network
time.
is breaking. Oh, okay. How about now? Is it better?
Now it's loud
Yeah, I
and
think it's
clear.
better now.
Okay,
Yes, it's
sorry.
much
So I'm
better now.
actually okay. I'm actually in a country very far from you, so I'm running helter skelter to look for network everywhere. Okay, so if it's better now, let me connect my earpiece so that I can reduce the noise because I'm actually in an open space. So can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I wanted to remove external noise. Okay, yeah. So what I was saying is that, so what we have done is so that in whatever sector you belong, we have decided to create a very important resource. And it's not just a resource, it's like a 3-in-1 resource, which you can just buy on Seller. And once you click on the link, you can access it. So for now, it's a read-only document, but once we are done with the November edition, we'll then be able to download it. Bisayo, so how much is it? Bisayo, can you help me? What's the original price and what's the
The
promo price for those
the
that will leverage on this in the next?
the original price is 14,000. The promo price is 12. This slide you're sharing
Okay.
is the old one. Is the old
Oh,
slide.
really? Okay, I
Yeah.
think you sent me a new Canva link.
Yes.
Apologies.
Yes.
Apologies. Okay. Apologies. Okay, so sincerely, it's been a very hectic day for me. I've been out of Nigeria since when was that? Since Monday. Okay, so I've been working here at Cote d'Ivoire, so it's been a lot of back and forth. But then I had to just
Okay.
manage everything together. Can you still see my screen, or is it totally off?
I can still
Yes,
see your
sir.
screen.
I can see.
Okay,
Yes.
you can see me on Canva now, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Great. Great. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. I wanted to be sure. So I'm actually sharing from my phone because I had to be looking for internet everywhere. So I think with my phone, I'm also quite proficient with sharing of screen and getting um, my tech stuff in the right order. Yep. All right. So fantastic. This is the latest edition. So yeah. So permit me to get to where my boss stopped. My learning and design boss. Yeah. So can you see? So it's actually 14,000. I think you said 15,000, right? But if you are getting it in the next 24 hours, Saya, please drop the seller link on the WhatsApp group as well as in the chat. So whatever the case may be, just click on the seller link. Now, the most important thing is it's not enough for you to get this information. Now, what is most important is what do you do with it so that it can convert for you and give you maximum return on your investment of time, investment of data, is your return on expectation. Okay, so I would advise that if you can get this resource, it will go a very long way in helping you. Now, let me just also say something as outside what I've just mentioned now. Now, I want to then look at profitability and sustainability of learning experience design skills. So, Bisayo has spoken a lot around different sectors. So, in other words, there is no sector that you find yourself as long as you have knowledge. How many of us can agree with me that we are now in the knowledge economy? Type in the chat room KE, KE, KE. If you agree with me that we are in the knowledge economy, type in the chat room KE, KE, KE. I want to be sure that everybody is following this class. Tayo, help me check how many people have typed in because I can't actually check
We
my
have a
chat
lot.
now.
We have a lot.
Fantastic.
Esther, Eunice, Oluwaseun, they are
Amazing,
all on there.
amazing, amazing. Everybody now on social media is sharing knowledge. Now, what is going to differentiate you from everybody on social media that is just trying to share knowledge is when you have the knowledge of learning design, right? What then happens to you is, haha, you will not charge cheap. Have you seen people selling 1,000 naira course, 2,000 naira course? I mean, it's very funny. So, but if you actually know the technical aspect of learning and design, you will be differentiated. Now, let me tell you something. I'm on an all expense paid trip right here in Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. I'm in Abidjan to be precise. And for this trip alone, right, it was an all expense paid trip, but the school invested about 1.5 million to bring me here. Now, that is entirely different from what I'm charging the school. I hope you get my point. Last week, I was in Edo State with Edo State government, and I was started with the responsibility of helping the states train instructional designers on how to write scripted lessons. That project is in tons of some millions. I don't want to mention it so that some people will know that snap for me to say, hey, Dr. Toyin, but that project was in millions. Whatever millions is in your mind, so it is. I'm saying this because you don't just want to be that kind of person that will be selling a 1,000 naira course or pay anything. That won't happen during COVID. As COVID was tough, did you know what I just did? I just started teaching people on how to be productive. And I was charging 10,000 naira. As COVID was tough, I was charging 10,000 naira for, and what I just did was, and everything is happening on WhatsApp. I was not even doing Zoom live class. What I just did was I had like an outline and I did some stuff. I'm not going to be sharing everything I did during COVID. If you really want to begin to be someone that is well remunerated, go and get that resource. So Bisayo, I hope you have shared it on the Zoom, on the chat, and also on the
Yes.
WhatsApp. Now let me
Yes.
move on. So the first thing you want to do is freelance market opportunities. You see, so freelance, there are a lot of freelance sites, and I think what we can do is, if you get that resource that we are giving you for 12,000, we will share some freelance marketing sites with you. We're not going to share it on group because we want your commitment. As much as we are doing this for free, we are also trying our best to make sure that you leave the gang of the free, because free is meant for people that eat crumbs. If you want to eat the real meat, you want to make sure you get that resource. Secondly, corporate career growth, which actually has a lot to do with salary expectations and advancement. Now, let me tell you, as a co-educator, I'm sure for those of us that have been following me strongly on social media, you will know that Dr. Toyin has moved into the corporate space. Whether you like it or not, I have moved. So it is. So the advantage I then have is, once I move into corporate training, is that I am not just, someone that is going to be trying to find our footings. Number one, I have teaching as a gift. Have been a skillful teacher all my life in the past 27 years. Now, I am also leveraging and learning very closely from Bisayo about learning experience design. She always said that I don't claim to be one. I am one, actually, so I'm beginning to claim it. But then she knows a lot more in depth than I do, right? But the good thing is, for like 2 years now, I've had platforms to train in the corporate space. So whatever you are doing, there's a level, there's an executive level, there's an executive corporate space. In fact, I'm changing my name from my title from lead consultant to executive consultant, because I want to begin to attract the corporates, and just the corporates, executives in the Fortune 500 companies around the world. I'm not just talking about Nigeria. Now, look at the entrepreneurial pathway. This one is massive. Designing business models and success stories. She has spoken a lot around customer success management, customer, what is that thing now? Customer service, customer education.
Yeah.
Yes. And then if you take a closer look at all these things that we are talking about, there is a knowledge side to every business. Everything that you know, don't see, my people, don't trivialize it. Because you know it and because it's coming from you, you feel it's cheap. It is not cheap. One of the ways you can then, but you can't just open your mouth and just be talking anyhow. You have to package this knowledge in such a way that people will be willing and ready to exchange their millions for it, like they are doing with Dr. Toyin. Now, let us now take a look at some of the things that you can monetize. So some of us may say, oh, my profession is actually too technical. Oh, my profession is, you don't understand. But sincerely, if you have excelled one way or the other in that profession, in fact, if you have been in any profession for 5 years and above, please, learning experience design is your pathway to wealth. Now, but if you're not saying that, okay, Dr. Toyin, my career is not something that I really, maybe, some people get into some career that, it be like saying, career misroad. You understand? All hope is not lost. You can even beginning to work around something you are passionate about and something you love. Really, to make money. People say follow your passion. Sincerely,
I would advise that to actually be wealthy and to make money, look out for what people need. Look out for what people need. Look out for what people can't easily access, but they need it seriously. So be very sensitive with your environment. Then after you have done that, you can then follow your passion. Because passion without money is frustration. But if you can then convert your passion using L&D skills that we are teaching you to see how you can then leverage and then earn from it, then you are in a fantastic zone that I am. Right? So like I said, monetize your passion. So sometimes you may want to start because clarity comes with momentum. Clarity comes with momentum. I remember when I started this teaching profession, my first salary was just about 5,000 naira a month, right? And but what I then did was I make sure that I enrolled in a computer school. Those days, laptops and all of that was not readily available and accessible. That was, I'm talking about way back in the early 2000s. So I enrolled in the computer school, and because I just knew that this is my passion, there is a way I want to package it. I don't want to package it with chalk and slate. I want to package it in such a way that anyone around the world can be able to access it and then learn from me. So I knew I had to jump on computer. So to cut the long story short, I am an author of 28 books by the grace of God. I sell, in fact, people still bought from me today. That's why, and they bought soft copies. So when you have learn and do skills, you're able to do that. Then monetize your proficiency. Look within, look very deep down. Some people need your proficiency. For example, I'm a very proficient person with time. I'm a very proficient person with deliverables. I'm sure Bisayo can testify to that. So I opened the room before the time. So what is that thing that you are proficient in? You may want to really, really think deep and write it down. Another P that you can monetize is you can monetize your potential. What potentials do you have? So take, for example, for me as a person, what are my potentials? My potentials is having international franchises. My potentials is, but what you can then do is while you are carrying out those research, you can then begin to also share, this is what I have found. 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 And then you put it together with your L&D skills. You put it together and then you can monetize. Then you can monetize your past experiences. The mess in your message. My people of God, you see, people say that experience is the best teacher, especially when it's not your own. So how can you package your experience in such a way that people can then learn? For example, what has been the highest income generation for my company and my business is my transitioning into education consulting, being an education consultant since 2012. Okay. And then what did I do? I did not jump out of my job. I remained an education consultant between 2012 and 2018 before I eventually transited. So I help a lot of educators that want to transit to education consulting smoothly. Why? It's my past experience. It was something that I did. It is not a Google document. It is not a Google resource. It is the life that I live and that I'm experiencing now. By the grace of God, I am an educator. I am a millionaire in not just a single digit, right? So because over the years, I've been able to put together my experiences as an education consultant, my experiences as someone that has continuously learned and is continuously improving herself, I'm able to do that. Then another thing you want to do is monetize your partnership. You see this partnership is the new gold. See, it's the people at the bottom that compete. The people at the top, they collaborate. So you want to make sure that you move to the top where you meet with people that you are going to be able to partner with. I have so many partners. A lot of people partner with me. Why? Because they've seen value and I've packaged myself in such a way that people are looking forward to partnership with me. I can't tell you how many messages I receive from my LinkedIn virtually every single day for partnership. Look at myself and Bisayo. She has the technical skills. I'm learning from her. I have the marketing and the selling skills. We came together to partner. And you can see that we are making a strong force. There was no way I could have easily done this as effectively as we are doing right now. Now, what else can you then
profit from and can be sustainable as an L&D skills designer. Now, career partnership, I'm talking about C's now. You can put together your career partnerships in a resource that is based on learning and design. You can look into coaching. If you have been in any field or you have done anything successfully for 5 years, you can leverage on the coaching space. You can actually bring about your L&D resources to have commissions and affiliates. So let me give you an example. I have my books currently now in Port Harcourt. I have my books in Oyo State. I have my books in Benin. I have my books in Abuja. Now, the books that I put together, they were all learning, they were all learning design, learning, instruction, resources. And what did I do? Because I can't be in all those places, I've been able to help empower people to earn. Now, aside from that, I am a brand ambassador with You Lesson. I collect commission on every sales that I've made. I also get commission. I get paid by referring people on several platforms that I cannot even mention here. It's not exhaustible. What else can you actually monetize and you can profit from and it can be sustainable? Creative designing and designing digital products. Let me let you know, this e-resource that we are going to be buying, if you have your fastest finger, is something that we designed. Bisayo created this. Why? Because we know that some people, this information we are giving is not enough. You actually want to get a grip on it and see how you can adopt and adapt it to your own industry. So we created this. So what is that thing that you can create? What is that thing that you can create? And then, of course, leveraging on conference speaking is a very powerful tool. Now, one thing I also want to encourage us is that from what you have learned today, you want to begin to package and put some things together on social media. Start using social media as your instructional learning platform. Let me tell you, I don't know, for those of us that have been following me, I've been sharing insights on my experience in Edo State, the project we went to do last week. Now, every single day, I was taking pictures, I was taking videos, I was getting content. And since Monday, I've been sharing on those experiences. Let me tell you, I've gotten nothing less than 15 to 16 people coming into my DM, including a university that wants to invite me next month to be one of their conference speakers. See, all these things that I'm sharing with us, it is not by mouth. This is the life that I'm living. Then you don't even want to go into the aspect of the online courses. That is my latest oil well. For those that know me well, you remember that I started with 5,000 naira training, 30,000 naira training, but I don't do that anymore. Our training starts from as low as 100,000. I would say as low as 100,000 because this is even something that I don't even have to be physically present. We have a full learning management system. In fact, we are taking everybody on the journey. Just know that we are just starting. See, if you want to get to that level, we are going to hold your hands. Bisayo and I are here for you. See, that learning management system has been my oil well. I pay about 250,000 naira to renew that website every year, but that website generates money for me in millions, even when I'm sleeping. Recorded courses are there, courses on leadership, courses on education, courses on goal setting, name it. So many courses that people from all around the world subscribe to. Now, you also want to leverage on learning resources. A lot of us are educators on this platform. We buy resources from Twinkle. Who says you cannot sell resources? Who says you can't start putting together resources in your profession, in your different profession, real estate, NGO? What are those things that you know that something as little as checklists, you can create as a resource and people will be willing and ready to buy. A lot of people are leaving a profession, moving to another. They want to learn. A lot of people have been in professions for a long time and they are not growing. At some point, the organization says, oh, you will find your way out. They'll be looking for people that can teach them hands-on skills that they can use to get better on their jobs and then get promotions. A lot of people are also even getting into professions newly, the next generation. Who is going to mentor them? Who is going to teach them? Who is going to show them? But if those resources are not available, how will you, if you have not created them, how will you leverage on them when the opportunity comes? Earlier this morning, somebody just came into my inbox and she said, oh ma, I am a new head of school. Do you have any course for me? I said, yes, madam. Immediately, I collected her number, chatted her on WhatsApp, sent in the course.
As in, it was like magic. And before we knew what was happening, she was like, oh yes, this is great. I said, if you cannot even start the course, buy the ebook. So I even have different resources that can meet different customers on their learning journey. So if people can buy your courses, can you create an ebook? If people buy ebook and they want more, can you do one-on-one session? If people, buy your ebook and they want more, can you do group sessions? And earn. Guys, Nigeria is not smiling. My people, Nigeria is not smiling. What is that thing that you can do? We are in the knowledge economy. Nobody should say, oh, you are waiting for just your salary, or oh, you are not making money. Oh, see, those things are excuses in the past. We are here to help you to navigate this course as long as you are ready to also commit. Then finally, influencing for learning products and services, being an influencer. I told you I'm a brand ambassador with you lesson. Anytime they have to show my face on their platforms, they pay me. They pay me. And that's just the truth. But you can't get to the level of influencing for learning. You can't get to a place where people will pay you just because they feature just because of your face. You have to be able to have a value that they know that when your face is there, people will buy from them. My men and brethren, companies are not ready to waste their money. Everybody's saving their money. So whatever it is that you want to influence, they must know that they will get their money back. And that what they are paying you is going to be more than what they'll be getting later on. Now, guys, we are ready to take you on a deep dive. And this deep dive is an upcoming webinar on industry-specific hands-on, tailored L&D skill acquisition. So for this, we are looking at the 8th of November 2020. Am I right? Is it 8th or 7th? Bisayo? Bisayo, are you there? Kindly confirm.
Yes, I am.
The date, please.
Yes, it's 8, but I will check
Awesome.
again.
Awesome. Yes, I think it's 8th of November 2024. Now, this is for people that are ready to get serious. Meanwhile, we are not closing down the free group. Okay? Meanwhile, we are not closing down the free group. We are still going to have another free session for you. Please give us clap in the digital, clap your hands now in the digital. Clap your digital hands in the chat room. It's not easy. It's been a lot of work doing this sincerely. We are going to still have another free webinar coming up November 22nd. Now, what we want you to do for us is to share that registration link with at least 5 people. That's the least you can do for us so that they can join in. People that you love, and let them know how powerful and how impactful this webinar has been. Now, once we are done, we are going to upload the recording on YouTube. So we will share the link on the group so you can actually watch the replay and share the replay link so that the people that you are inviting, they will know what is in store for them. So guys, please, and please, we are still going to have another one most likely in December because we want to have at least 3 webinars, and then we will take on from there with those that are very, very serious to take this journey and take it seriously. So at this point, I'm going to be having it over to Bisayo again, so that she can take our questions, and then that will be all for the day. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. So
Thank you,
I need to stop sharing. Yeah. All right.
So if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat or raise your hand, and I would take it one after the other. Your question can come from different angles. It can come from the technical aspect that was taken by me, or the business side of things that was taken by Doctor. So we have questions. While we're waiting for questions, remember that there's a handbook. You can't internalize all of these things all at once. I've also shared the link to the slides, but I must tell you, the slides will not be enough for you. You'd see that the slides were not worthy because they're just points, to most of what you learned today is from what we explained to you passionately. Now, while you're thinking about the question, while I'm expecting the question, I want to talk more about what is in that handbook. We have poured out our hearts into that handbook such that when you are done with the handbook, you will come out with at least one product that will be different from what you have been doing before. That if you have been doing if you have been creating learning products before, you would finish that book with a different perspective. It is hands-on. It has templates for you to work with. In fact, you can learn from that handbook independently without needing any explanation from an instructor. That is learning experience. That's how much we worked on that book. At the end of the book, by the time you are done with the book, you will be able to package a learning product, right? Now, for those that will be taking the paid webinar, it's very important you get that handbook too, because some of the things that we will be practicing hands-on, it will be nice for you to come with something you have done from one of the instructions given in the handbook, something you have done. It will be good for you to come with it to the paid webinar and ask your questions. We're going to practice hands-on with the things that you have practiced in the handbook. So I look forward to getting your feedback, and I really hope that you would make the best use of that handbook. So
Yeah.
do we have questions?
So it's
Nobody
like
has raised their hand.
okay. So it's like everybody is really, really satisfied. But if you have a comment, if you have an aha moment, if there was something that was said and you're like, wow,
Okay.
these people really spoke my mind, please kindly unmute and share. We want to be able to get feedback. If this time it's been worth your time, right? And then once we get one or two people say something, we will end the call. Because thank God it's Friday. It's been a very hectic week. So do we have anybody? Just unmute your mic and let's hear you. Has it been worth your time? Were you able to learn anything? Okay, Eunice says, thank you so much for this class. Okay, anybody that wants to say something? Yeah, okay, let's have Oluwaseun Adu Falana. Over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor and our instructor. It's been it's an high hope now. I've been seeing learning instructional design over time. It's been popping up at different platforms, but I I just thought it's just one of those courses. All right. So, but having it in a class tonight has really opened my eyes to what it really is. And funnily, I've been involved in just a pocket of it. So it's what I know, but I did not really know how to explore it. And so thank you for opening our eyes to how to take advantage. Thank you so much.
Awesome. You're welcome, ma'am. Who else wants to say something? And then we'll call it a night. Once the video is ready, we will put it on YouTube and share on the group, as well as making sure that we keep engaging in the group. One more person, and then we'll call it a night. Bisayo, yes, from the form that was filled, a lot of people in the room actually have little or no knowledge of L&D. So, I mean, almost like 90% that I saw. So I perfectly understand where they are coming from. And so if you have a comment, aha moment, thank you so much, Eunice. Thank you so much, Falana. One more person, and then we'll call it a night so that everybody can go. Bukola, can we hear from you? Eunice has said something. Tola, Clementina, Victorious, Ebele. Madam Ebele, oh yeah, say something now. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I know Ebele has been creating resources, and Ebele is an educator.
Why are you
Okay,
giving me
good
thumbs
evening,
up?
doctor. Good evening.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
much.
Good
Good
evening.
evening. So, good evening to everybody. It's been a wonderful time hearing from experts. And honestly, this is one course. Let me just tell you the truth, the honest truth from the bottom of my heart. Maybe I should give to myself. Anyways, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge. This is a course I've been longing, sincerely speaking. It's one of my goals early this year to look for an opportunity to do this course. God may have it. I've had the opportunity now to do it. This one is called Follow Who No Road. I'm happy. Honestly, since I get to connect with you, it's been one learning from one to another, from one to another. Honestly, I don't take all you do for granted for us in the educational system. Thank you so much, Doctor, from the depth of my heart. I appreciate you, and looking forward to getting the resource from you. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Billy. Great, 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 great. So, yes, speaking about follow who no road. Now, that adage is not complete again. No. It is now follow who no road and hold your transport money. Because you can be following who no road, and the person who no road will just enter inside the bus. If you know transport money, you will not be able to follow the person. True or false? Let me know in the chat room if I'm speaking the mind. Now, if you also follow Uno road and you hold money and do not hold your complete money, when the person you dey follow reach to a certain extent, conductor will say, if you no hold your full money, alight at this bus stop. You are not, that means that that person that you are following who no road and you are not holding your complete money, you will not follow the person to the destination. You will reach half of the road and they will say, come down. So please, we have taken you to the bus stop now. It's now left for you to hold your transport money, enter the bus with us, and let us have this ride. So on this note, I want to say thank you once again, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. Let me hand over to Bisayo as she gives her final words. Thank you, everyone. It's a good night
Okay,
for me. Bisayo, over to
nothing
you.
much to say. Thank you so much. I feel so honored to be sharing my experience with people outside my space, beyond the educators. Shout out to all the educators here. You are here because you want more, you want to do more than what is available in the school system. So I look forward to seeing everyone at the top. With there with you all making reference to the fact that you encountered some form of knowledge and aha moment at this webinar. And since then, it has been, you know, growth upon growth upon growth. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you again. Bye.
All right. Once again, good night, everybody, and have a fantastic weekend. Bye bye. We'll keep
Bye.
chatting.